Well, that wasn't a fun road trip. The Guardians dropped back-to-back series, and one has to wonder how much blame should be put on Cade Smith, and will he be our closer for much longer? Make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe, give us a call, leave us a voicemail. We'll play it on the show 216-260-3433. Noah, Cade Smith, not a traditional closer by any means, but he has struggled, especially as of late, blowing games for us. Is he sticking in that role much longer?
I think so. I think this is very similar to the Tanner Bybee situation, in my opinion, where we should give him a little bit more rope. He has been pretty damn good closing for the Guardians in lieu and in loss of Emmanuel Clase with that whole situation. Really coming in, he was a great setup guy. He moved into that role as one would see fit. I mean, at one point in time, especially when the Class A thing came out, Stephen Vogt did not commit to having a true closer. Now, I think our true closer is Cade Smith. I mean, he gets the outro or the intro that I shouldn't say outro, it's an intro. He gets the walkout, he gets the whole thing. He's always typically the closer. I mean, they're doing giveaways for him this year. So they've kind of put him in that closer role. And I don't think we're at a point even as to where we're at with like Tanner Bybee, for example, on the video we did earlier this week, where I'm a little more concerned about Bybee because it tracks to last year. Cade Smith stepped into this role after what was a sticky situation last year and played it well. And I think that there's still a great shot for him to continue to play it well this year.
Yeah, the thing is he's blowing saves. So he's now blown across the last 2 seasons 8 saves, which is tied for second most in baseball in that span, by the way. So that is not a situation that bodes well. Obviously, he's, as you said, he was thrust into this role after what went down with Emmanuel Clase. He's not supposed to be the guy, but he is the guy. And I just gotta say, like, he's not making competitive pitches. That's the problem. If you look at the Statcast, like breaking down where his pitches are falling, it's not good. And I don't know what you're supposed to do in this case, honestly. Like his sweeper has the lowest whiff rate of his career by far, by over 6%. So like the stuff just isn't there right now. And the thing is, this team is a competitive team. We've seen it. They're hitting the ball. Other pitchers are doing well. Like, at what point do you mix things up or even go look for a guy in the market?
Well, I don't think you'll see any type of looking for in the market, and I'm not going to go down the cheap Dolan's route. I'm going to go down the route of they're not going to do that until they see what this team is made of, and it's the trade deadline because that's when they go and spend money. So I don't
Agreed.
think that's coming anytime soon. I do think Cade Smith deserves a little bit more of a rope here because he has shown the ability when it comes to his statistics to do what he's doing. Now, this year's statistics are not that great. He has 3 saves out of 5 games, 5 save situations. That is a 5 ERA, 11K, a 1.33 whip. So, with that all being said, I understand the concern because I am concerned as a fan too, but he's a young player. His rookie year was 2024. He got thrust in this role in 2025, and it's only April in 2026 now. So I want to see up until May a little bit more of Cade Smith going on. And let me remind you, if Emmanuel Clase didn't go and do what Emmanuel Clase did, and we had him at the trade deadline, we were probably dealing him, and we probably would have ended up in the same situation with Cade Smith being in that closing role because they believe in it. Because the advanced metrics tell you that he is still has the stuff to be a closing pitcher.
Yeah, the problem is though that you mentioned the stuff. His splitter hasn't been there this year, which means that he's been behind in the count. 26% of his pitches are coming when he's behind in the count, which means that he's relying on his fastball. And granted, it's his best pitch, but he's now relying on that fastball 84% of the time, which means you don't really have to worry as much. You're not trying to sit on something and you could just be fast with your bat. I think that's the issue right now. He needs to figure it out because honestly, the funny thing is that Emmanuel Clase had similar issues before obviously he was ousted. So it doesn't bode well for a guy that we are turning to in these high risk situations. That's the thing. Like you have to be on if you're a closer. Mo Rivera was a guy that threw 2 pitches, and really was famous for 1, but he got it done. If Cade Smith isn't getting it done, then eventually you have to look to options or perhaps not handing him the ball in high stress situations.
So let me give you my argument as to why I think they are going to continue to let this ride for quite some time, and why I honestly think they should continue to let this ride for a little bit more time, right? There's a statistic, an advanced baseball statistic, because that's where we're at in the sport of baseball now, where advanced statistics do, in fact, matter, called fielding independent pitching, meaning what the pitcher contributes to the scoring, the defense, whatever, without actually including like the outfielders, the infielders, or whatever. So there's a way to read this statistic. 3 or lower is elite. 3 to 375 is very good. 375 to 425 is average. 425 plus is above average. Cade Smith, even with the blown save in the game against the Cardinals, is still in that very good range when it comes to this. And this is an advanced analytic that front offices like Cleveland tend to look at, being an analytics based organization with how they do small ball and all of that. So to me, I think they see that it's still there. It's just about getting it under control and getting him back in the right direction, where you saw the flashes. I mean, sometimes this season, I mean, he was great until he gave up that 2 run hit. He was 2 outs away, and he was like 2 strikeouts in that count. I forget what exactly it was, but to me, I think there's still plenty of proof in the pudding with this kid because he's young and he has the ability to go out there and really fill this role. I still think he's the best fit for it right now.
Yeah, I'm going to be clear. I mean, I mentioned it. I think he just needs to find the splitter again. And I also want to be clear that he will find that because he did. I mean, in 2024, he had like a 1.93 ERA, I think it was. I'm recalling that from memory. I don't have the stat up. So if I'm off,
191,
it's close to that.
191.
Okay. I knew it was close to that. With like 103 strikeouts and 17 walks. That was roughly the line.
Close
Um,
enough. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Last year, his ERA went up a bit. I think it was like 2.93, but he had just as many strikeouts. He had about the same amount of walks. And if I'm not mistaken, he had 16 saves once he took over for Emmanuel Clase. I think that speaks well. He's a good pitcher. The problem is he's a guy that works on a blended pitch approach, meaning he needs all of his stuff working. He can't, like, his fastball is a great pitch, but he can't rely on that because it's cutting the plate in half for these hitters and they're just able to tee off on him. So I think that splitter will come back. The problem is right now it's not there. So you're in a catch 22 where you want to keep handing him the ball because he needs to find it. But if we're only up by 1 and there's 2 men on, that's a situation where normally your closer needs to come in and dominate and he's not. So you're
Right.
losing games and thus losing series. So it's a little tough. I agree with you. I tend to agree, like, stick with him. He's going to find it. It's just frustrating right now. I still want to remind everybody, and I feel like I keep saying this, it is April. It is April 16th by the time you're watching this video. Happy birthday to Jen, my mom, by the way. But it is early, is my point. I'm not worried about this. I'm not worried about batters that aren't hitting right now. Like, I'm not worried about any of this because it's April and it's early. Now, if we get to the All-Star break and we're still seeing issues like this, but we're still competitive and it looks like we're running away with the Central, I think you probably can't expect us to go get somebody.
Yeah, maybe, and maybe that happens if Cade doesn't put it together. But I kind of lean towards having faith that Cade's gonna put it together. I mean, he's had a short time here in Cleveland. He's had some dire circumstances. If you think about Class A and how he got thrusted into this role, basically, and he has achieved more than I think most people would expect. So for him to lose confidence because of how his early season has started, to me, I think would be disappointing because there's no reason for him to do that. I talk and you talk about the leash for some of these pitchers, right? We talked about the leash with Tanner Bybee earlier this week. Where do you put the leash on Cade Smith before we start maybe going back to a platooned approach at that save position? Maybe you bring Gaddis in depending on the matchups and stuff like that, as opposed to having a true saver in Cade Smith.
Well, it's funny you say that because it was literally the next words out of my mouth that Hunter Gaddis coming back and being healthy again helps a lot here. I don't think that the leash is super short or anything like that. I think he needs to find it and find his stuff. The biggest problem is he's a strikeout guy. He's a make you whiff kind of guy. He's not like a weak contact ground ball pitcher. He's just not. We talked about him relying on that fastball. That fastball, when he's mixing it with the splitter, I mean, he's really good. He has really good stuff, and he's really hard to face as a batter. And by the way, the reason closers are so hard to face too is that you're only facing him once. You're not going through him multiple times. You know, that's typically why starters start getting hit, why they don't last a full game, etc. Is that batters, by the time you're seeing him on the third time, you kind of have it down, right? That's
Right.
not the case with the closer, and that's not the case with Cade Smith. So I think his leash is rather long. But if you keep blowing save opportunities where we're leading and we're losing games because of it, that's an issue. So I don't think it's short by any means, but we do have the staff and the rotation to potentially make changes if we need to. By the way, this pitching staff and this pitching coaching staff is by far and away, if not the best in the MLB's, very, very far up there as being close to the best.
Yeah, I agree with everything that you're saying in terms of there's going to become a point in time, but we're not there yet. Now, let me ask you this on a fan level. He goes out there today. The Orioles series starts back in Cleveland. It's 3-2, and he comes in for the ninth. Are you feeling a little nervous right now?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I think it
Right.
depends where we're at in the order, of course, but yeah, definitely. From what I've seen so far, yes, because he needs to find that splitter again. That's the key to unlocking Cade Smith right now. I don't think it's a mystery. And I think he will. Like I've said it, I think he will find that again. But if that splitter is not working, especially, then I think he needs to have a short leash in situations like that. If all of a sudden
Yeah.
he's got guys on first and second now with no outs, then we don't have to keep him in the game. Like I think if it were me, and this is way out there strategy, as I'm warming up Cade Smith, I'm probably having a guy like Hunter Gaddis if he hasn't played, or somebody else warming up at the same time, so that if I need to yank him, I can do it rather quickly.
And that's a good transition to what my next question was, and something I wanted to talk about with you. If not Cade Smith, obviously looking at the roster, who would you put in that closing role next? Because I think there's about two names, maybe three, that you could argue aside from Cade Smith to be in that closing role, uh, other than just Cade Smith himself.
Yeah, that's a good question. Probably Hunter
I
Gaddis.
was gonna say we could get the guy we've talked about a bunch. I think Hunter Gaddis is an option people will levitate, hover around. You know what I mean?
That would be my first pick. I mean, Erik Zabrowski's another pick. I don't know that that's a good one. He's kind of the second setup guy. He could be an option, but I don't think he's doing all that much better right now. He's got an ERA of 4 something if I'm not mistaken. But if you wanted to go that route, one of those 2 guys would be my pick ultimately.
Erik Sabrowski is the hot name to me because he's had such a hot start to his season. You're wrong. His ERA right now is a 2.0. He has 14 strikeouts on a .78 whip, which is awesome in terms of a pitcher whatsoever. If you're going for the hot hand, and I know he gave up a hit in the eighth inning of that game that Cade Smith blew the save, so we don't need to talk about that. But overall, if you're going with the hot hand to maybe try to fill in there, it's Erik Sabrowski because he is one of the low key names I think in our pitching staff in our rotation that does a good job. And not a lot of people, especially the casual baseball fans, would know about him because he's a relief pitcher at the end of the day. The other name you could put out there too, in my opinion, is Sean Armstrong, just because he's the veteran in the bullpen. I don't think he is really the best option overall, but if you want to go for the veteran fallback, right? Like you just want to put someone out there who's played their time in the league, knows what they're doing at least, as opposed to worrying about a younger kid like a Cade Smith getting upset, getting anxious, getting nervous to have that big moment. That's when you go Sean Armstrong. But my hat, if they went, I would probably put it on Erik Zabrowski's head, but I get the argument for Hunter Gaddis as well.
I have a name for you, and by the way, the ERA I was referring to was his last 7 days. It's a 4.91.
Gotcha.
But I have a name for you that, I don't think we're considering right now.
Oh God, who?
Tanner Bybee. Why
Oh, that's a fair
why
one.
don't we try him out for 1 inning?
Yeah, well, maybe if we continue down the route of Tanner Bibbyisms that we have seen as of late this season, maybe that's where he best fits for this Guardians roster.
Which,
And
to be
go.
fair, I don't think he's had too many bad first innings.
No, no, I don't think he has either. And he's got the fire, he's got the passion to go out there. Obviously, we're joking. I do want to see Tanner Bybee start some more games for the Guardians before we go the bullpen or send down route with him because we paid him a lot of money because he's shown the potential to be an ace level or at least the number two, a high end pitching rotation pitcher, right? So to me, I'm not there yet, but it's a great thing to joke about, I guess. Um, I don't know. I still feel decently confident in Cade Smith. I won't lie. I'd be a little nervous if I go to the game today. I almost said tomorrow, 3-2, and he goes out there at the ninth. But at the same time, I think he has the ability and I mean, he has the ability. That's really it. He has the ability to be a closer in this league. So let's keep giving him some chances, at least for the time being.
Yeah, I think that a key here too is that we can't let him get in his own head. Like a closer is built on confidence. There's a reason they come out to the music. I mean, we've seen it before where those guys all of a sudden get in their own head and there's nothing stopping the train down to the minors at that point. So I think that he needs to continue to get those opportunities. Like I said, though, I fully trust in Carl Willis and this coaching staff. We've turned out nothing but good pitching performances and guys since he's been on our staff back with Tito. He was under Tito, one of his guys. So I'm pretty confident that he'll get back there, but just got to find the splitter, and it takes time.
It takes time, and again, he's young in his career, so maybe not panic button level yet, like kind of where I am with Tanner Bybee, but it's something to watch for the Cleveland Guardians for sure. I mean, two blown saves this early into the season isn't a great look for your young guy that you're trying to hope and pray and mature into a true closer full time for your team for years and years to come, or until you trade him because he becomes that good because we're Guardians fans.
Yeah, not panic button. It's more like that meme with the two buttons where the guy is sweating and can't figure out which
Wiping his
button to push
forehead.
right
Yep,
now.
yep, yep, yep. I'm with
We're
you. I'm
more in
there
that
for it.
zone at the moment.
Erik, we got some exciting news to tell the people about what we have going on next week for the NFL draft. Do you care if I dig in real quick?
Yeah, do it.
We are running it back. Last year, we had such a great time doing our NFL draft live stream where we react to the picks, talk about what's going on, even when it comes down to our division rivals and whatnot. You know, overall reactions to the draft. Of course, we'll be talking heavy Cleveland Browns throughout the entirety of that show. We will be live on draft day Thursday, which is the 23rd, 7:45 p.m., which is about 15 minutes before the festivities start. So we can get a little preamble in there before the Browns, unfortunately, probably make us a little bit mad. Come join us, sit back, listen to us talk, ramble, rant, and vent because it's going to be a good time, man.
Can I make a promise real quick?
What's that?
If there's a guy named Malachi this year, I will not pronounce it Malaki like last year.
Well, that was about hour what, 4 of being on the live stream. I think we had a couple adult sodas at that point, a couple too many slices of pizza, so I don't blame you anymore, but that was a really good moment. If you could go find that clip, if you have nothing better to do with your Thursday afternoon, that is a funny clip to go find in that draft day video.
Yeah, that was for some reason I was the only one announcing every single pick,
You wanted
and
to. I remember you were like, "Can I just keep doing it?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, go for it,
I
man."
don't think I asked to keep
I'm
doing it, but it was
I'm pretty
fine.
sure
It
you did.
worked fine. It was fun. But yeah, Malachi snuck up on me. I wasn't familiar with that name. Now I
Yeah,
am. I
now
wasn't
you are.
familiar with your game, Malachi. I can't wait for the draft. Next week we have so much fun things going on. I can't believe it's here, but the debate never ends, but the show does for now. We'll see you next time.